Welcome to a lap around the league where I take you through all the most interesting events of the last week in the National Hockey League. First up, family updates. William Karlsson of the Vegas Golden Knights welcomed his second baby, a younger brother to 1.5-year-old Beckham. They named him Lars Maxwell Karlsson but said he'd be going by his middle name Maxwell. A very exciting time for the Karlsson family. William isn't the only player to have a baby recently. Canucks forward Connor Garland welcomed his first child, naming him Quentin, after the Jaws character Quint, not after his teammate Quinn Hughes like a lot of people thought, although Quinn did play a special part in the birth as he was named the Godfather. Connor Garland had a crazy few days. He was up during the night to take his pregnant wife to the hospital early Tuesday morning, played in the Canucks game against the Rangers Tuesday evening, which he scored in, this is the goal, and then went back to the hospital after the game where his wife had the baby early Wednesday morning. Another piece of fun family news is the reunion of the Nylander brothers. William Nylander's brother Alex signed a 1-year contract with the Toronto Marlies in the AHL at the end of July, about 4 months ago, but with the mounting injuries to the Leafs, the organization decided to sign Alex to a 1-year NHL contract on November 22nd. Alex made his Leafs debut 2 days later, and even though the brothers didn't play on the same line, they did get a chance to play together on the first power play unit against the Panthers on November 27th. After Williams' tweet about wanting to play with his brother again someday, his dreams finally came true 9 years later. One of the sweetest moments between them was during their joint post-game interview where you can just see the love the brothers have for each other. He already seems happier, just like how he seemed happier with the media in Sweden versus when he came back to Toronto. Now moving on to notable calls of the week. It was so nice to see Matthew Tkachuk finally get called for his nonsense on the ice. He always seems to get away with this kind of stuff, which just enables him, but not this time. In true Tkachuk fashion, he decided it was a good idea to shove over Connor Dewar 58 seconds into the game, and this time he was actually called for it. So good to see him getting what he deserves. Unlike here, how did he get away with this? He makes contact with Varlamov 3 times, and not just how did he get away with this, but how is this a good goal? This guy has got to stop. Now, take a look at this clip. This was called boarding on Grabankin. Okay, now look at this one from a few days earlier. Grabankin again, but this time he wasn't called for boarding. It even busted up Theodore's forehead. Where's the consistency? And within the same week, we saw Quinn Hughes get ejected for this, which was called boarding. Ejected. I guess you never know what you're going to get with NHL officiating, but I suppose we already knew that. And you can't forget about this. Zadorov poking Malkin. Okay. Why did he feel the need to do this? He's lucky Montgomery isn't his coach anymore because he probably would have gotten an earful just like Marchand did. Both players ended up with $5,000 fines for their actions. Moving on to an interesting piece of trade news, the Avalanche traded goaltender Justus Annunen to the Preds in exchange for goaltender Scott Wedgwood. The Avs have had their fair share of goaltending issues. Was this really the answer? Why didn't they just keep Kakinen instead of all this nonsense? Now they've got a struggling Georgiev and an okay Wedgwood who likely won't be any better than Annunen. Wedgwood has similar stats and is 8 years older. Maybe they're just looking for a change to freshen things up. For the Avs' sake, I hope it works. Let's conclude by looking at some struggles from around the league. Starting with Connor Bedard. He went 12 games without a goal, but finally got one during the Hawks' 6-2 win against the Stars on November 27th. You can tell by his celly just how relieved he was to finally get one in. And this is what he had to say after the game.
I didn't care how one went in, to be completely honest. I had to take it off the face.
Yay for Bedsy. While Bedard has gotten out of his funk, Nathan MacKinnon has not. The Colorado superstar has gone 10 games without a goal. Here's what he and Makar had to say about their 8-2 loss against Tampa.
I'm not overly concerned. I think the guys will we understand what we did wrong, and we'll move on.
What wrong to me? I don't know.
It's safe to say Nate isn't quite feeling himself right now. Now, Mika Zibanejad. Yeah, that pretty much sums up his season so far. Okay, you might think, Sam Reinhart, what could his struggle possibly be? He's the leading goal scorer in the league. Well, his struggle has nothing to do with his game.
Bure?
In this short video, he said over 20 times. It's safe to say he won't be invited to the TNT panel for analysis anytime soon. Speaking of TNT, Biz had a struggle of his own. He got into a fight with 7 drunk guys who were hassling the staff of his favorite restaurant. Luckily, Biz is okay, and he even made merch with a portion of the proceeds going to charity. Lastly, I wanted to mention JT Miller, who is out indefinitely for personal reasons for the Canucks. I just wanted to say that we're thinking of him and wish him all the best. Thanks for watching.